Good morning.
Good morning.
It
How are you?
is Friday.
It is Friday, y'all.
It's a beautiful day
Listen.
to be empowered. Wake up this morning and plug it in and get ready, because I'm telling y'all, every
Amen.
day is a beautiful day when you are above ground, right?
Hey, and another thing too,
You
y'all
better
need to be
recognize.
liking and sharing like I'm doing, okay? I'm doing our liking and sharing. I need y'all to join me to like and share, okay? Before
Yes,
we do
ma'am.
anything,
Yes, ma'am.
like, share, subscribe.
Okay, let me get, because Regina came up, you can see when she came to the edge of her seat. And we know when she comes to the edge of the seat, she mean business. So,
Ain't no plan. Good morning, Miss Phyllis.
Okay.
You better have empowered women and men of
Right.
God. And Sparkle mentioned yesterday how nice that is to have an inclusion of the men. Because sometimes, they think when it's all women, you're not thinking about the men. But yes,
Right.
men are welcome, appreciated, and loved. Miss Phyllis came back and said, happy, fabulous, faith-filled Friday. Good morning,
them
Shannon.
FFFs,
Good morning.
Yes, get it together.
Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning.
But yes, like and share the broadcast out. We want to be able to spread positivity to people first thing in the morning, because how you start a thing is how you end a thing. And if you can get it right in the morning, if you can wake up and roll over and get out your bed, you can give thanks.
You did something.
You can be empowered. Yeah, that's a major thing. Do y'all know we take it for granted, but it's so many people who are not in the mindset to have a great day. They don't even see anything great about the day.
No, they don't see nothing great.
They don't see anything great about the day. So when you can wake up and be empowered, when you can wake up and say, thank you, God, when you can wake up and say, you know what, no matter what comes my way today, it's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
You are so far ahead of the game. You're probably in the top 10, 2% of people who get up. So count yourself, honey, blessed and highly favored. That's how you see life. And that you get up and say that no matter what comes my way, I'm still
showing up for myself.
I'm still going to show up and show out. I'm still going to be the face up in the place that is getting all the things started. That positions you to be way ahead of everybody else.
Yes.
And you don't even know it.
And Angela, and to add on, when you are being transformed, when you used to be that in that percentage, they used to be like, oh, here go another day. When you used to be that part, it gives you, it's like you get a bigger high. Like that high goes to another level, because that is no longer you. So you get excited just to know that I really love life. Today is really the day.
But life is good, honey. Good. Run Pastor, good morning, sisters. This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it.
Exactly.
When I get up, that's what I think. I'm a preacher's kid. And so, of course, I was used to hearing that all of my life. And so when I wake up in the morning, that is what I'm thinking about. This is the day the Lord has made. Let me rejoice and be glad in it. There's no reason. I'm not going to say there's no reason, because for some people it is difficult. Some people are dealing with grief. Some people are dealing with, losing their homes, being evicted, losing jobs. Somebody, is dealing with divorce. There's a lot, or a bad diagnosis, when it comes to your health or the health of somebody you love. There are reasons that will keep you and make you in a state of mind where you just feel like, you know what, Lord, I don't even want to face today. But at the same time, you have the power to shift how you see your circumstances and understand that even in grief, it's a blessing that we had in our lives, as long for the length of time that we had it. I talked to somebody else the other day, and they were talking about the dash, and a lot of times, you have a born day. All of us, we have a born day, and then an ending day. Whether yours has made it here or not, the dash is what you do in between. And we talked about the dash is what happens in between, and your dash is what you make. Your dash is what you make it. And so we're going to reverse back to yesterday, because in your dash, Dr. Sparker talked about appreciating the men in your life. And so I'm going to pick this up, a comment up from Reverend Pat. She said, that's why we pray for those who are facing challenges and obstacles.
Yes, and we don't point our finger at them. That's why I love hugs. I love smiles. I love just speaking positivity, because you don't know what you're doing for somebody else. Just because they didn't write you, let me tell you what Dr. Sparkle did for my life. I don't need that. I don't need that. I just need you to feel like, oh, I'm a smile. Because if she can walk around smiling and screaming and hollering, I can walk around smiling. That is hope. A smile is another form of hope. A hug is hope. Telling somebody, I love you, it's a hope. Giving an encouragement word is hope. This is what we do right now. We're hope dealers. We give out hope. We pass out hope every single morning. And then we don't take it from just this morning. We move it on through the day, the night, and keep on going with it. Because people need the hope, y'all. People need to know it's another way out. And stop being so stuck up, acting like God ain't never brought you through nothing, that you've always been up above and not beneath. Tell people your story so they can stop thinking that you just this perfect individual when you just living you're pushing through every single day.
Because everybody does not look like what they are going through. Let's just keep it real. It is some people who are
not everybody shows it.
Everybody doesn't show it. You don't know. And I'm even stepping out to say for mothers, when you have with your children in the morning, give them, even if you're struggling, even if you're going through, even when, give them a hug, encourage them, and give them, that sense of security and stability, because at the bottom line, end of the day, they don't need to have that pressure on them.
No.
Give them what you can give them so that they can go out and be great. Because one thing, you don't know what they did with that school. You don't know if they're being bullied, because sometimes kids don't tell you.
No,
you don't know
sometimes
what's
they
going
don't.
on, but you got to start their day off right by letting them know that mommy loves you. Go out and have a great day. I know you're going to rise and shine. Give them that positivity and that encouragement, because they need you to be the example.
Exactly.
On the flip side, if you have a man, you need to be that peace and that encouragement and that support for the man in your life. You need to say, hey, if you're going out and you're going to go out and make that money, I need you to know that you are loved. You are appreciated. You are important to me and our family. Because if something were to happen to him, you'll be the first one devastated. So don't wait until devastation hits. Go ahead and celebrate now. Celebrate every day, because y'all, life is important. Life is short. Life, you may think whether you're on here 30 years or you on here 102 years. Life is still
that dash. I don't care when you die, you still gonna get that dash. It's still gonna be a dash in between. You don't get a deleted from the dash, because I lived 105 years. So I don't have no.
We don't know.
You don't know. And when you were saying that about hugging and embracing, we're not talking about just your little girls. We need you to do it to your boys too. Your boys need a hug. They need an embrace. Your husband need a hug, an embrace. Your uncle, your brother, all them need a hug because they all this. No, let me pound you. No, you gonna come in here and embrace me. We ain't pounding. Like we came COVID and told us don't touch people, don't be involved with people, and elbow. No, embrace because it's nothing like a great hug. A great hug. You don't even know what's going on in my life. It was the way she hugged me. It was the way he embraced me because your husband is facing some things that he don't tell you either.
For sure. To be honest with you, everybody in your life probably has something they're going through that they have not shared with you.
Amen.
People are
Amen.
private and people are dealing with things the best way they can. And
Amen.
sometimes, and it's not that they don't trust you, it's not that they don't love you, but we have a innate sense of let me handle what I'm going through. And whether it's out of embarrassment, whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of I just don't want to bring you into my drama or my trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that is, it is something that people go through that people don't always spill their guts every day.
Nope.
You know, I might just have had an argument with my husband. I'm not going to come on here and say, girl, we just got
Girl, we
into
just
it.
got the
And I'm not doing that. You know, somebody else may say, oh, well, girl, you know what? They over here, Regina may say, they over here tripping about this barbershop, and I'm dealing with some things because of this. She may not share that with us. You got to know that it's strong people out here, and they say check on your strong friends. Because we think just because somebody's always smiling, always happy, always look like they got it together, they may not. And so the thing about it is stop and pause. Everybody should get a good morning. If you at a
everybody.
job
I
and you're
don't care
walking
who
into
you
the
are.
building, if somebody's coming in to do a service, if you got a job that you can go in and clock in, don't be the person at the counter to be like taking
Here
their
you
money. You can't
go.
even acknowledge them. We got to shift because you know what? You and your negative energy can infect somebody else in a
Yes.
very direct way. Y'all know Tabitha Brown said, don't you dare go messing up somebody else's day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you do that. I'm going to catch Brother Pat. My 17-year-old grandson thinks he's too old for my Gigi hugs, and I don't care. I just look at him. Boy, if you don't give your Gigi a real hug, see his face. But you know what?
Yes.
Even in the shy nah, he feel good about it. He just
Yeah, he
oh,
do. He do.
he
He
really loves
remember
it.
that
He's
hug.
glad to get his GG. And
Yes.
I'm going to bring to the stage. We have a special guest this morning because, as I said yesterday, Dr. Sparker kicked it off talking about men and celebrating the men in our lives because it's Father's Day. But let's not just talk about Father's Day because every day they need to be celebrated. Every day
Yes.
they need to be loved. And so we're going to bring on author Courtney Clark. She is the author of a soon to be released book called Dear Black Man, You Are Loved. Welcome to the
Amen.
virtual stage, Miss Courtney Clark.
Hi,
How
Good
are
morning.
you?
I
Oh,
am well.
aren't
I
you
am well. I
gorgeous?
am
Come
so
on with the
grateful.
red lips. The red
I
lips, the
know,
red
girl.
lips,
Look,
the red lips.
how I feel. And you know what? And it goes to show, even with Courtney, you know how people just they look amazing, but you don't know what's behind the smile, what's going on in life. You don't know what people deal with, and
Right.
especially men, because men have been
Especially men.
told, "Suck it up, don't show emotion." You, as little boys, you gotta stop that crying. You
Boys
know
don't cry.
exactly, and we don't know the messages we send when we tell them it's not cool to show emotions because y'all don't think men cry. Y'all
You
don't
don't
think
think
things
they
break
hurt?
their heart. You don't
That's
think
right.
things trouble them and stress them out. Courtney,
They
tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into this discussion.
Okay, so I am a mother, a single mother to a 16-year-old son. I am a life coach. I am an author, of course. I'm a writer for two black-owned magazines,
come on.
Unmasked Healing and Won't She Do It?
Won't she do it?
Yes. And what else? It's so much, girl. I do so much till I forget sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a
Um,
blessing.
Yes,
But at the
I'm
end
getting
of the
ready to.
day, with all that you do, I love it because when you say it that I do so much, but then you go by simply court.
Court. That's right.
Is that
That's
not an
right.
oxymoron? Like I do so much, but at the end of the day, it's still simply court.
That's right. Simply being me.
There you
Simply
go.
Simply
being
being
you.
me. Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Authentic.
that so much easier?
It
Just
is less stressful.
it's so
Less
less
Less stressful,
stressful.
stressful.
yes.
Yes. When we try to
It's true.
conform to the identities that others place on us, it places us in a box. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us from thriving and being the best version of ourselves because we're busy trying to be a version that someone else has created,
Exactly.
of us, so,
Mhm.
and I did that for years, seeking
Yeah.
validation, needing approval from
Mm-hmm.
others, and I had to leave that. I had
Yeah.
to.
You look, you had to say bye bye now.
Bye bye,
Bye
baby.
Hmm.
bye.
I'm
Yes,
not enslaved
yes,
to anything, baby. Into
that's
anything.
right. And when you
Yes, but
step away
Courtney,
from that, you find your power.
yes. So what made you I love when a woman takes up for our men because sometimes we get our empowerment women. So I love that you stepped out on faith and you took another step to love on our men. What made you say, let me this is gonna be for my men, the men in the world.
Well, for one, like you said, women empowerment, that has always been my thing. Always been my thing. Women empowerment. Always have fought, for women, what we stand for, just motivating each other, empowering each other, supporting each other. I've always done that, like literally my whole life. Like I've always been that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a mother to a son. So after going through divorce, after experiencing, having a traumatic experience, even all my other past relationships, with men that weren't good for me,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And get into that place and just realize, and even being on the empowering journey as of the past 2 years, going through divorce and things like that, and watching my son become someone totally different. Like he went from that sweet little boy that I knew to like this angry kid. You know what I'm saying? A lot
Mm-hmm.
of it is because of the things that he saw me go through, him holding things in that he could not talk about, or at least he felt that he could not talk about, and I had to become not just someone else. Like I went from being the nurturer to now having to be the nurturer in the disciplinary. And
Gotcha.
that was a struggle for me. It was a
Mm-hmm.
struggle for me to do that. So he's now 16. He's thriving. He's very smart, very outspoken. But it's still that anger there. And there are times where I literally had to check myself. And I say that because growing up, we weren't allowed to express ourselves to our parents. We weren't
Mm-hmm.
At
allowed that.
all. Are you kidding me?
Stay in a
Yes,
child's place.
that's right. I don't care. I don't care if the parent
I
is
don't like
wrong.
Say
that.
honey,
That's
sing
what you
not a
like.
Yes,
word.
Look,
Say
nobody
honey,
And
asked
didn't
you.
nobody
sing
ask you
that's
not a
what you
right.
word.
like?
That's right. I don't
You're
care if
gonna
the
eat what's
parents
on
are
that plate,
wrong.
whether you want it or not. Either eat
That's
it or you're
right.
gonna be hungry.
That's right.
And I look, and I provided. I put some food on the table, and you choose not to eat these asparagus. That's on you.
That's right. That's right. And let's be honest here. A lot of times our parents was the problem.
Yeah,
A lot of times our parents was the problem, and not
and they
making it
didn't even know it though.
for real, and not to make it a race thing, because it's definitely not about that. But one thing that
Hmm.
I would say, just from research, my own personal experience, sometimes black single moms, they destroy their sons.
Mm,
let,
Mm.
let's let's talk
mm.
about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about it.
it.
Let's talk
Let's
It's
about
talk
true.
it.
about it.
That's true.
So a lot of black single mothers, we destroy our sons, and we don't realize it because it's like we're looking for the husband in the son.
I was gonna say you make the
Yes.
little boy man up. You know how many
Hmm.
Yeah,
times
because
they say,
you like
"Oh,
you're the
now you're
man
the
of the
man
house
of the
now.
household.
That's
Now
right.
you got to
Yes.
take care of." As a 10-year-old, and you tell a 10-year-old, "Well, now you got to take care of your mom." That's a lot of responsibility.
Right.
You think
That's
goes
Right.
to a
too much.
child's
That's
mind to
too
hear
much
that.
responsibility.
It's
Right.
a lot of responsibility for grown men. You think for a
Right,
10-year-old,
right.
That's
he's
right.
trying to process, well, what am I going to do to take
And,
care of my
and
mom
our dads did it. Our granddads did it. Their dads did it. But at what point is someone going to break that
Yeah, you have
curse?
to. You have to. I have
Yeah.
sons, and you know what I told my sons? I said, I don't give a dang how pretty a woman is. If she can't get her hands dirty like you get, she ain't the one, baby.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
She ain't the
And
one.
I'm gonna tell you something. Once I saw it, once I learned it, I can't unsee it.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't unsee it. He's at a Steve Harvey camp right now. Yes. And he needed that. And I won't lie to y'all, I was a bag of water. I was
Oh,
a bag of water because I'm used to leaving him and like going on my girls trips or going on
yeah.
traveling as a CNA because I do that as well.
Uh-huh.
So I'm used to leaving him. He's home. I'm okay. He's with grandma, he's with family, he's with friends. I'm okay. But him being around a bunch of strangers and him being the one gone away from me,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it's kind of like my
He
baby.
left you this time.
Yeah, I can't text him. I can't call him because they weren't allowed to have phones.
Okay.
And
Wow.
which I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
But
sure.
for
but
sure.
yeah, so
Cause they
not knowing
glued to
what to
those
do with
cell
myself.
phones.
Yes, they are. And guess what? He tried to get out of the line after I told him that he couldn't take the phone. He was like, boy, I'm not going. He was like, I can't do it. And girl, I told him, I said, baby, yes, you can. You can do hard things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can
And
do it.
One
so
of the
yeah,
best things that would ever happen to those young men is to understand that life goes on outside of the cell phone. Because
it
Yes.
I think
does.
society has. Do you know what? Because one of my pet peeves is for people when you're in church to get up and answer a message or call or whatever. Do you know before we had cell phones, you didn't have that. You had to
You
sit
did.
there like that. You didn't know somebody was trying to get in contact with you. You didn't know. You didn't know
Right.
And
anything
you
else,
lived through it. And
and you
you
lived through it.
The
Right.
message
So there
got a
are
point,
some
but they
things.
got a hold of you some way.
Yes,
Right.
you figured it out because guess what? If somebody died, you didn't know until you got back home and got the message,
and
right?
what were you gonna do? What
Exactly. But it trains us, and I think that nowadays,
Hmm.
we at a certain age, you handle things better because you know that back in the day, you didn't have access to all of that. And so,
hmm
because
Right.
this generation is so used to having it in their hand, if y'all ever looked at some of these reels where you see these kids when the police take their phone, they go berserk. I'm talking about they are
Yes.
fighting, they are cussing, they are. Even if you look at parents when they take their phone, they're like, how dare you take my phone? Give me my phone back. And they're just going crazy. So the blessing in that is giving them an opportunity to understand that life goes on outside of the phone. You can
That's
still
right.
have fun, you can still enjoy yourself, and you can have intimate contact with other people that's just as good, if not better, than that solo contact with just your cell phone.
That's
Yes.
right.
I love
Steph, I
it.
mean, I'm, I love her. You can't have cell phones at my events.
Right, right,
Like,
right.
because it's a distraction. You're gonna say, I'm not gonna pay attention. I got the volume on low, but you still over there every
But
second.
you looking to see,
Right.
oh, I got to check. Let me just see, make sure everything okay. You looking to check and see. When you turn it off, you can be free to
To,
get into the experience. Chantel
That's
said
right.
her friend's son was went to the Steve Harvey camp before, and it was a life changing experience. Ah, that's awesome.
and that's what's Courtney, your son gonna have a life changing experience. We believe in that.
Okay,
I
Courtney's
think
been on
so
the
too.
sisterhood chat. Well,
And
Pastor,
that
she
that's
needs you for you.
mostly why I was crying, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I know he needed that, even though he didn't know he needed that. He didn't realize he needed that. But
Right.
as his mom, I knew he didn't need it because, to be honest with you, he didn't want to go. He was very hesitant about going.
I
He
bet.
just simply didn't want to go. He asked me why was I making him go, and I said, Mama don't know best all the time. I said, but this is one thing that I am absolutely sure about. I said, you need this. I said, and I said, when it's over with, you're gonna be glad I sent you. And believe it or not, when he did get there and saw the other boys, oh my God, it was so many other boys that feel the same exact way that he does. Yes. And I love that for him. So I'm
Okay.
like, maybe
So
he
they
can
had
bond
something
with
in
these
common. They
boys.
had something in common.
Yes,
And
Some
yes.
then their skin color looked like you.
That's right. That's
I
right.
So
know.
And so just being a mom to my son, having working at a prison, the one of the top level 5 prisons in the state of Georgia. Macon
mm,
State Prison. I worked there 3 years. So, seeing the things I saw there, I couldn't unsee it. The things that a lot of the men
Yeah.
experienced. And I actually did a survey for a research project while getting my degree, my bachelor's degree in psychology. I did a survey, and it was 100 men out of 120 men
Mm-mm.
that grew up without a father.
oh wow.
And not making that as an
A
excuse
hundred
for
out of
why they did what they
120.
did. Yes, 100 men. It was so disheartening. It was so disheartening. And then even on social media, I've had so many men reach out to me. How do you become healed? How did you get to the place where you're at now? You seem so positive. How did you overcome? And so many of them don't even know my story, baby. They don't know the half.
Right.
They don't even know, they don't even know half of the half.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't. Now those that know, they know, but the ones that don't know, baby. And and that's why I take so much pride in what I do, because I went through things that I really thought was going to kill me, that was going to take me out of here. And I mean that mentally,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, emotionally. I thought it was going to take me up out of here. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I looked at my son, it just was a reminder to keep going, because I knew that he needs me. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that he needs me. If I leave here today, there is no one that would love my son the way that I love my son.
Exactly. Come on.
Oh,
Talk
And
about it, Mom.
I'm
Not
always
on this human ground.
for real. And I can't teach him to be a man because I'm not a man. And it took me so long to learn that, because I feel like a lot of things, I feel like I tried
True.
to over love him, and it's no such thing. I tried to fill the void of his father not being as present as I would have liked for him to do, which, I give credit where credit due, because, he is doing better now for us, taking up time with him and being in
Okay.
contact with him. And I don't get in the middle of it. He got a phone, he got
Exactly.
a phone, and so I allow them to have whatever relationship they're going to have. Because at the end of the day, I can't help how my son chooses to see him. He's
That's
not going
true.
to look at, okay, he wasn't as present, or he didn't do this, or he disappointed him with this. He's not gonna look at that. He has to make a decision as to
Yeah.
what type of relationship he wants to have with his father, and I can't intervene on that. However, I've always taught him to, respect him, and just different things like that. But every chance that I get, I'm trying to teach him some type of life lesson. Some
Mm-hmm.
type of life lesson. I can't teach him manhood, but I can teach him to love and respect others, how to treat a woman, and just how to love people and respect people, and how to strive and keep going, and how to be optimistic, how to
There you
love
go.
yourself. I can teach him those type of things. And so that's what I've been striving to do. So
That's
the book is dedicated to my son first and foremost, my dad, my brother, every man that has played a part in my life, to all the men that's incarcerated, all the
Mm.
men that I come in contact with on a daily basis, whether it's in person or social media, the men that I coach as a life coach and different things like that. That book is for them.
that's awesome.
Men need to heal. Men need to know that it's okay to
Yes.
That's
feel.
awesome.
Men need to
Yes.
know that it's okay if they hurt, and it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to express your feelings.
That's right.
It's
Thank
okay
you.
to have your
Uh-huh.
emotions, especially when you're frustrated and anger, because those are natural human emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, you
It's important.
something to be wrong.
It
Yeah. If you
is.
did not have those, it's
Yeah.
what you do with that. It's what you
right.
do with that anger and that frustration. You have to channel it. You have to use it in some type of way to get it out. Whether you paint, whether you write, whether
Yep.
Something.
you go be with your homeboys, whether you go play basketball, whether you spend time with your loved one, whatever it is that you do to help
Yeah.
you cope in a positive way with everything that you're going through, then that's what needs to be done. But society has, created this stigma surrounded
Yeah.
around black men healing and men healing in general.
In general.
Making them feel like they can't express themselves. They're gonna feel too soft. And I can speak for me when I say I remember telling my son when he was a 5 or 6 year old boy, boy, man up, dry them tears,
Mm-hmm.
toughen up. I remember telling him that. I remember telling him that
Mm-hmm.
clearly.
Yeah.
But when you know better, you don't
You do
always do
better.
better. You don't
But
always do
but
better.
you was
No.
doing what you saw. You saw this.
Right,
You was
right,
going by what you saw, what
right,
you had been taught, and you just repeating it
right.
because you felt like, hey, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed
That's
to tell
right.
in a man up.
I only use what I knew.
Yep.
I only use what I knew with what
But
resources I had.
when you grow and you start growing and God start growing you in places that you like, I wasn't even trying to deal with that part of healing. So thank
Yes.
you for admitting, like I did do that. Oh, that was me.
Yeah, that was me. And a lot of people shame for their story. A lot of people shame of where they
Oh
came
yeah.
from. And people that truly know me, oh baby, the growth speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The growth speaks for itself.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So
You know
when
what,
does your
Courtney? I
book
love.
release?
Go ahead.
The 19th, the perfect day.
there you go, girl.
Juneteenth,
Yes,
that's right.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
You know, I think it's really good, Courtney, what you said, because we don't have a blueprint as mothers.
Yeah.
You
that's
all
right.
you have is examples of what you've seen, whether it's
Baby,
good
we
or
out
bad.
here.
You know what I'm saying? You're just out here doing what you think is best and
Yeah.
pulling from different things you've seen.
Yep.
But a
That's
lot of
good.
times, I think, and Rampant said this is so powerful. A
Yes,
lot
it
of
is.
times, I think what people don't understand is, as mothers, a lot of times we're in survival mode. So
Mhm.
you're not thinking about teaching certain things. You know, you just figure, oh, you know what, you know to get in there, get that bath, you know to go in there and get that homework, you know to go in there and do. You're assuming that they know a lot of things. You know to treat other people how you want to be treated. But a lot of times we miss out on the teaching moments because
Mm-hmm.
we're so busy trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this rent paid, how I'm gonna make sure that y'all get to eat, how am
My
I gonna do
God.
this, that, and the other. And on the flip side of that, wanting love. Because for a lot of women, you crave love. And you know that I have these children, I'm pouring out, but who's pouring into me?
Mm-hmm.
That's
What
right.
happens a lot of times, you see the anger and the disconnect of young men because they've been with a mother that was trying to figure it out
Mm-hmm.
and didn't give them what they felt like they needed. And because we have the stigma of man up, you a boy, you're not supposed to cry, that builds that wall up where their anger doesn't have a chance to be expressed. So
That's
when they get
right.
out in society and meet other young women, and now that's an opportunity to take it out. Now you get where people are in abusive relationships because now you got somebody that you can buck up at because you couldn't do it with your mom because your mom probably would have punched you, but you can do that with somebody else. Or
That's
you get
right.
affiliated with organizations like gangs and things where you go out here and rob, kill, and steal because that anger never left. You just kind of
Yep.
learn how to deal with it.
That's
So
And
right.
not only that, Angela,
go
in
ahead.
those games, they hug one another, they hold one another, like they do that. And even though they might be going around the wrong direction of it, but you see them embracing each other as soon as they walk up. They're like, "What's up, man?"
They do. And it goes back to what Courtney said, Miss Phillips said, that you said find a positive way to channel that anger. Because the
That's right.
reality is the anger is there.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on who you allow to influence your child, they will
Mm-hmm.
get with the wrong crowd and get anger out in the wrong way that could
Yep.
end up in them going to jail
That's
or
right.
being dead.
That's right. And it does make a difference. And I say that because um it have been friendships that I didn't approve of, with my son. However, I didn't try to break those friendships up. I just pretty much explained to him what it looks like to have a healthy friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and people that are good for you. This is the kind of behavior that they do.
Yeah.
This is the type of, and those type of things. So it's one of those things where when children get of age, like they already know right from wrong, right?
Right.
but sometimes life have to teach them.
Yeah.
Like we a lot of times we can't save them for everything.
Everything.
And
So
That
true.
part.
right, and I say this all the time. People be
Me
quick to
too.
say your child is a reflection of you, but that's not necessarily true. And I say that because children gonna make their own decisions and their
Yes, they
own
are.
choices.
Mm-hmm.
No, regardless of what the mom or the father tried
Yeah.
to teach, or whatever village that the child has, whatever it is that they tried to teach that was positive, that child see. And I'm saying that because I've always been a good, as a kid, I was a good kid. And when I got older, I made some wrong decisions, and I knew what my mom and dad taught me, but
Right.
I still did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Now it came back
Right.
to kick me in the behind. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
that was that lesson,
That's the truth.
and I
That is so true.
still didn't learn the lesson. Still didn't learn the lesson. Still didn't learn it. You see what I'm saying? Kept
Mhm.
repeating the lesson. Kept repeating
Go
the lesson.
back and
And
do
one
it
thing
again.
about God, baby, you gonna keep repeating that lesson until
Yep.
you get it.
You gonna
You
get,
gonna
yeah.
repeat it. You gonna repeat that lesson. And the thing about it, not just repeating the lesson, you think it's gonna show up the same way, and it's not. It's gonna
It's
be the
not.
same lesson, but it's gonna show up in a different person, a different
Mm-hmm.
experience, a different situation, a
Yeah.
different place, a different time. It's gonna show up until you learn the lesson. And,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
tell people that,
You gotta pull
and
get
I
to
can
the
say
root.
that, ooh, Lord have mercy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even enough time. It's not even enough time. But yes, when I tell you, you gonna repeat that lesson. You gonna repeat it. And I always tell my son that. I'm like, baby, God be trying to show you something. I said, what you do is on you. I said, the wrong choices you make, I said, it's on you, it's not on me. I said, mama can't save you. I said, I'm not gonna be here always, and I'm not gonna be able to save you always. I'm not
That's
gonna be able
true.
to do it. And I'm not sure if y'all are familiar. Tyler Perry, Medea told his story one time on one of the plays. Something about the eagle, how they force, the babies out of the nest after a certain time, because they try to force them to fly. And
Mm-hmm.
they stay on the nest, and they won't move until they put the I don't know what you call them, like the little sticky things in there or something, to force them to move, to force them out the nest to fly. So either they gonna fall and die, or they gonna fly. They're
Whoa.
gonna do one of the two. And
Two
and black,
choices.
yes, and a lot of black parents with all races, they uphold their children. They uphold their children a lot of times. And
true.
you can't do that. You gotta be
And you
able
do
to.
them a disservice by doing
That's
it.
Yes.
right.
Cause you
That's
can't
right.
you can't hold their hand and say fly. Like you can't fly for them. It's a lot of parents that want to fly for their kids when they
And you
have
can't
to
do it.
fly just like you had
Yeah.
to fly for you.
You do. And
Exactly.
another thing too is like, you just pray that you equipped them for the time
That's
that they when
right.
they leave, that some of the things that they'll implement and the other things that will be of their own.
That's
Yeah.
right. Absolutely right.
And some of I mean, to be honest with you, the best lessons are the ones that you learn yourself. Because
Yeah.
people can tell
Yeah.
you all day long, but until you can say the stove is hot, but until I touch it and be like, I ain't never doing that again.
Right.
I'm not going to get the lesson that I need until it hits me where it
That's right.
hurts me, or it hits
Yes.
me where that trauma or that drama or that pain was to a
Yeah.
point where I recognize I don't ever want to do that again.
Right.
Yes.
Gotta get it, because you can tell me all day long, but as they say, you don't believe SHIT stink until you get a good whiff
I
of
don't
it.
care how much
Exactly.
Rebecca,
potpourri
we
you
need a part
spray.
two. Yes, Courtney, let me read
Oh my
Chantel's because
gosh.
she did a great one. She said, you did a great thing for your son. He will thank you in the long run. Yes, a woman cannot teach a man to be a man. So many women that are single parents be thinking they are superwoman. I had connected my son with an awesome mentoring program. I also will listen to my son to understand, not to just give a response. Now he was 19, he is truly evolving to be an extraordinary man. And that is one thing I think as parents, we think we know so much and you want to tell your kids, but sometimes we need to listen
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so that we can understand where they are mentally before we're
Yes.
trying to give them a response. Because a
Exactly.
lot of times when we're so quick to try and tell somebody what to do, you miss out on the nuggets that they're sharing with you about where they are in life. because a lot of
Yes.
times they know more than we think they know. They
Oh, a
hear
whole
more
lot
than
more.
you think they hear. They see more than you think you see. They see. You know how sometimes you be
Yes.
thinking like, okay, well, I'm getting ready to get a divorce, and they just like, I already knew. I've already
Yeah.
heard the argument. I've already
Yep.
seen how y'all
Yep.
interact with each other. And you're trying to protect them when all the while they already knew.
They
That's
We
already
right.
knew.
we
Or
don't
they wish they
understand.
would. Like, finally, y'all getting a divorce. Thank you, God. Like, sometimes it's a relief because they over the arguments. They're over it.
Exactly. Chantel is on it this morning, baby.
Yeah.
She said, I really didn't want my son to be a broken man. We even did counseling, which was a game changer through the process. The Potter's House in Georgia had group counseling for boys and girls. It made a imperative impact in my son's life between 12 and 14 years old. Um,
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, the program isn't still available. A husband and wife saw the need and was all in. They even did things on the weekend. The counselors would take the boys fishing on the weekend. I'm
That's
telling y'all, it's
awesome.
important for
It's
us to
so
pour into
important.
young boys because they're going to be grown men.
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
again, Courtney said her book is Dear Black Man, You Are Loved. Tell the man in your life, Black, Hispanic,
I don't,
white,
yeah.
whatever it is, tell the men in your life that you are loved. And then
Yes.
don't just say it, show it.
That's
Give
Yeah.
right.
them a hug. Be there and be a listening ear. Not always to try and tell them what to do, but be a listening ear. And it's Father's Day on Sunday. It's the man in your life, whether it's your personal biological father, whether it's someone who stood in the gap, whether it's someone that you're married to or someone that you've had children with. Find someone and let them know they are appreciated, they are loved, and how much of an impact and a difference they've made in your life.
Yes.
That's right.
I love it.
Courtney,
Thank
thank
you,
you so much for
Courtney.
being
You
here. We will bring
welcome.
you
Thank
back
y'all
for
for having
sure
me.
when the book
Okay.
releases so that you can give them a little
Yes.
nuggets and things about what's inside. But y'all
Okay.
got the concept, and y'all see Courtney's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful individual inside and out. Courtney, how can they follow you?
My social medias, my life coach page is 1211 Empowerment. My Facebook is just Courtney Clark. And on TikTok, the official Simply Court.
All right, the official Simply Court.
I love
Y'all go
that.
and follow her. Y'all go and
Yes.
follow her. I'm telling y'all can see Courtney just has a way with words and a way with breaking things down. And I love it. And I'm grateful that God puts you in my life. I love you a lot.
I love you
Yes,
too.
them dimples on point, aren't they, Reverend Pat?
What you
Y'all
said.
have, I believe God. Do you believe God? We believe God. 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 Love you. See
Do.
you
Love you
Tuesday.
guys too. Thank y'all. See y'all next time.
Right.